The Savannah River marks the state line separating Augusta, Georgia from North Augusta, South Carolina. On the South Carolina side, on a Friday afternoon in October 1995, Parker and Brenda Shaw returned home with their granddaughter, Brianna. Parker tried to open the garage, but the remote door opener wasn't working. Not knowing someone was there, he went in the house to open the garage from inside.
Shut the door.
Outside, Brenda got tired of waiting. With Brianna, she began to walk towards the front door. When the garage finally opened,
let's go inside. This ain't no game, lady. Let's go. I ain't playing with you. Let's go. Come on, move it. Move it. Let's go.
Nobody get hurt, okay?
the gunman stole money and credit cards from the frightened couple. But then the one who was clearly the leader announced he had really come for the Shaw's daughter, Amy, and the money at her bank. They would wait for her. They knew exactly when she was to arrive. For Amy Shaw, it was an ordinary Friday evening. The gunman ordered Brenda to the front door. She knew right away something was wrong.
Get over there. Get over there.
The leader grabbed Amy. He began interrogating Amy about the security system at the bank.
Do you have the code?
From her training, she knew it was best to comply with the demands.
No, there's no time.
She said she could get him into the bank, but it took 2 codes to open the vault, and she only had 1.
You ready? All right, don't try anything funny. All right, turn around.
He said they'd deal with that when they got there, and warned her if anything went wrong, her family could get hurt.
Okay. All right. Okay,
The leader
shut up.
announced he was taking Amy to the bank
We're not gonna go for a little ride.
and told his men to wait for his call.
You guys got everything?
As they left, the kidnapper removed his mask to avoid looking suspicious in public. Pulling up next to the automated teller machine, Amy hoped to catch the kidnapper's image on its security camera. Deciding it was clear, he ordered her to drive to the back door. But as she had explained, she could not open the main vault door alone.
Open the vault.
She had one combination, but a co-worker had the other.
It's not gonna open.
The kidnapper reminded Amy that her family would remain safe only if he could get inside the vault.
Get to the vault.
And their concern mounted as another car pulled up to the house.
Somebody's coming. Get over by the door.
It was Amy's brother-in-law and sister, and their young daughter arriving for a visit. They were taken as soon as they entered the house.
Here we go. Let's go, lady. Come on. Come on. No, tie him up.
The gunman now had 6 hostages. At the bank, the lead assailant ordered Amy to call her co-worker for the second combination.
Hello?
Hey, this is Amy.
When Amy asked, the co-worker hesitated, not understanding what was happening. Amy tried to explain that her family was being held hostage.
Get me the combination.
The gunman took over, threatening to come get the code himself.
Okay, just calm down.
Fearing for Amy's safety, the co-worker gave her the second combination, and the door opened.
All right, yeah. Get the phone.
The robber had Amy make sure the co-worker stayed on the line.
Which one of the down bags?
The leader ordered his men
Yo.
to take care of things at the house, then leave and page him when they were clear.
And get out.
He He took off.
100% yes. Cardiff can get you a $500,000 line of credit today. Tap the link below and apply online in seconds. Cardiff, borrow better.
With more than $86,000. Once he was gone, Amy set off the alarm to bring help. Then, frantic with worry, she called home. Her mother warned her not to call police. The armed men were still there. But it was too late. She already had.
Mom, don't hang up. Mom,
It seemed like they were going to leave. But one hesitated.
Look, I'm out of here, man. Let's go.
There were 6 witnesses to the crime.
Yo, come on, man. Let's go.
At 8 p.m., Richmond County Sheriff's officers responded to the bank in Georgia and learned the real crime was across the river. The lead investigator was Kenneth Booz.
We relayed all the information that we had to the Edgefield County Sheriff's Office and told them that there was a possibility that the family was still being held hostage.
Edgefield County, South Carolina Sheriff's investigator Don Bullock got the call.
We had a family hostage situation. Respond was code 1. That's everything you got. Fast as you can get there.
The family had called, saying the gunman had left, but the deputies had to be sure.
Sheriff's office, open up. Sir, step back.
The deputies checked the house for the intruders. They were gone.
They were safe. Nobody was hurt. Physically, they weren't hurt, but mentally, they had to be shattered. They really went through an ordeal.
The Shaws described the men as best they could. At the top of the driveway, investigators located a vehicle stuck in a ditch.
The 2 suspects, when they left the house, they were going to take a car, and they got the key from the victims in the house. In their haste to back out of the driveway, they backed into a ditch and could not get the car out of the ditch, so they left on foot.
Clothes, masks, and gloves found in the bushes matched what the assailants reportedly had worn. Within an hour of the 911 call, an off-duty deputy was en route to the Shaw house when he heard the revised APB. He spotted 2 men roughly fitting the description,
Did you know your small business has its own
walking away from the neighborhood where the Shaws lived.
Hey, guys. Let me talk to you for just a second. Where you guys coming from?
The deputy questioned the pair, according to Sheriff's investigator Don Bullock. They were identified as Daniel Evans and Lamarco Roscoe. Jones made it to the police staging area about the same time as the suspects. Jones knew Amy Shaw was safe, but gambled that Roscoe did not. He told him his primary concern was Amy's safety.
I told him that he needed to know that if the third robber killed her, that he would face the electric chair for his complicity in the robbery.
The suspect soon admitted his involvement in the crime. When asked for the name of the leader of the group, he said he only knew him by his first name, Chris, and believed his last name started with a J.
Another law enforcement officer who was familiar with a number of ne'er-do-wells in the Augusta area recognized the name and actually asked if that was in fact Christopher Jabert, which he replied that it was.
Finished with the preliminary interviews, Jones learned a pager number had been recovered from one of the suspects. He asked an officer to call the number. When the return call came back, the officer identified himself. The Caller said his name was Chris Jabberk. When asked, he said he was 100 miles away in Mount Vernon, Georgia. Jabberk was defensive and asked the officer if he was being accused of something. Then he hung up. Investigators headed for Jabberk's house right away. Around 1 a.m., he arrived with his girlfriend. Although only 19 years old, Jabberk was already on a 5-year probation for burglary and escape from a detention center. The investigators took him in for questioning.
Yeah, we would just like to verify that, standard procedure.
His girlfriend agreed to come in too. At the sheriff's department, FBI Special Agent Jerry Jones questioned Jabberk about the kidnapping of the Shaw family and the bank robbery in Georgia. Jabberk admitted knowing the two confessed gunmen,
Are you in the trucking business?
Daniel Evans and Lamarco Roscoe.
He said that he couldn't tell us his whereabouts at the time of the robbery because he was involved in some other criminal activity. It was a drug deal in Atlanta, Georgia, according to him.
Two guys named Roscoe and Evans?
Jabberk's news story didn't convince anyone. Federal authorities charged him with 6 counts, including conspiracy, carjacking, kidnapping, and armed bank robbery.
After further interviews with Jabberk, he finally started cooperating and told us that he was involved in this robbery and kidnapping, and that he was actually the one that did it, but he wasn't the mastermind, that he was involved with some large-scale criminal organization, and that he couldn't reveal any more information because he was afraid for his family.
It was another